This episode's brought to you by 6XD Gearbox. More on them later.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Minnoxide podcast. I'm your host, Harris, aka Minnoxide, man of many automotive aspirations, and I'm here with my Ford-loving co-host for day 2 of PRI.
Yep, day 2.
Dan, Mr. Gunnock Garage.
Yep.
And I've been really excited for this one, by the way. Ever since we got hooked up, Howard got us in contact and all that. I really wanted to get you on the podcast. So today we are here with Anderson Dick. So go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself, Fueltech, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks for the invite. It's a pleasure to be sharing some of the stories. So I started as a college student in Brazil 26 years ago, pretty much, when I was like 19, and always loved cars, racing. But as Brazil racing scene being a smaller racing scene than obviously US and everywhere, it was really hard to get involved with racing. Mm-hmm. So I ended up having a couple friends that had race cars at the beginning, and we were able to actually, I was able to learn a lot in the beginning how that worked. But remember, one thing important to remember is Brazil 25 years ago was like US 45 years ago.
Sure.
So Brazil was kind of 20 years behind US in terms of technology and racing and that kind of stuff. So all the cars in 1999 were like carburetors. Mm-hmm. Nobody had a data logger. Nobody had a fuel injection, and that was literally an opportunity to try to do something different and to try to do the electronics. And also Brazil always been very close to the import, and being a small market, no aftermarket ECUs at that time were available properly. So basically I got one of my friends actually asked me to do a very basic fuel controller, and I was thrilled to do that. So I pretty much designed a very small, simplistic fuel controller, which almost cannot call like that. So simple it was. Mm-hmm. But it actually worked really well. Did the job for that specific task. Was a carburetor car with additional fuel injectors, a turbo car, 4-cylinder, and that worked well. I thought I could already sell some of those products to another friend that asked me to buy. I sold to him, installed it in his car. The injector stuck open and broke his rod in the first ride on the car. Then I decided to stop, or that that could not be a good idea at the beginning. So I ended up, that was my first year in college in electrical engineering. I pretty much was studying to move to Germany. Mm-hmm. I had like a job offer in Germany when I finished college, and along college I ended up restarting the fuel injection project with one of my buddies, and we pretty much designed what will be later the first Fueltech.
Okay.
That was not intended to be a commercial product. It was just like a college project degree, and since I had the plans to move to Europe, to Germany, I wasn't really focusing on making that as a product or a business. Long story short, I failed in 2 classes and lost the opportunity because it was a time-sensitive opportunity. I had to finish by that particular time, and I thought my life was over. I thought like, what, I have to restart everything. Then I pretty much took that college project to a racetrack, one of the largest Brazilian events, which was called which was called Festival, Brazilian Festival of Drag Racing. Yeah. And I pretty much stopped team by team trying to show them. But I was like a 19-year-old kid with a shoebox and a small prototype product inside. A few of the teams, or most of the teams, didn't even really pay attention. They were so comfortable with what they were already doing. But a few of them, actually, 3 of them were looking to do something new and try. So I was actually invited to come to their shops and install the product and start trying. And that was really the first steps of what will become later, the Fueltech.
Do you remember what year was this?
It was 2002.
2002. Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of cars are racing?
Most Brazilian drag racing is mostly front wheel drive, 4 cylinders.
Okay.
Some hero drive, but usually 4 or 6 cylinders.
Okay.
And at that time was very few V8s, to have an idea, because technically most of the sold cars in Brazil, they were like smaller
Compact cars.
Yeah,
okay.
compact cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, you said
2002.
2002. Okay.
Yeah.
And they're
then-
still carbureted at this time too?
Yeah, they mostly of them were like Weber carburetors.
Okay, yep.
Modified, and then some of them had fuel injectors, but they were pretty much on and off controls. And basically what we've done was controlling them a little more precisely with some kind of a manual adjustment. Actually, we since most of the tuners in Brazil, they were not even comfortable using a laptop. And remember, that was 25 years ago, right?
Right.
And we actually did the first product that you could tune or adjust the tune-up through the screen. It was like 4 push buttons and a small display, and you would have like the main field table, some compensations, and some diagnostics through the screen. And that was actually a perfect fit for that particular market. That was not really and they could not understand exactly, or those race teams, they were not able to use a laptop or data logging. They were not used to do that. There was the very first wideband O2 readers. There was a news. I would say that they came up a couple years later, actually.
Okay.
Most of them were just reading regular narrow band sensors, or 2 sensors, and pretty much like very intuitive tuning by just adding fuel until it stops, or remove fuel until it stops misfiring, reach misfiring.
Okay. Yeah, that's so you're developing a product and selling it there, and then here in the States, we're already
So
well
far.
past that. Yeah.
And so then after Brazil had a very good opportunity in the year in 2003, actually. Those 3-4 teams that actually started using our products, they start really winning, and everyone else start paying attention to us. And there was pretty much no other products. It was like we were the only product in the country available.
Okay.
So I was manufacturing my bedroom apartment, pretty much everything by myself. I was being able to do like 5 a month, 10 a month, 20 a month, and growing. Then we decided to rent a small office space, like a 400 square feet office space.
When did you get your first employee, or who worked on this at the beginning?
It was before even getting that office space. I was living in a college apartment with 2 friends that were from my hometown, and one of them was actually ended up helping me at night and building the stuff and doing that. Then I ended up making him a job offer to quit his job and help me during the day. So pretty much he woke up from his bedroom. He came to my bedroom. I had my bed, 2 desks, very small bedroom apartment. We have those 2 desks and pretty much assemble all the products, put together the harness. I was literally 2-man show, pretty much.
That's awesome. So then, so then you guys get the you said office space next.
Then we got a 400 square feet office. Then we thought like that was so much larger than the 100 square feet bedroom before. And then we start trying to get more volume. It was really hard to get even cash flow. We never really had any kind of investment. It was pretty much like the money we would do selling some, we'll build more units. Then I ended up figuring I would have more help. I need more help. Then I hired one of the guys that start building the product, assembling the hardware. This guy works with me still nowadays, to have an idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to ask that question if he's still there. Yeah.
We have like 20 plus year old employees, or 20 plus years employees. And from 2004, 5, 6, 7, we grew consistently in Brazil, maybe getting like to 5, 6 employees, and already being recognized the product. We released a few more products. We were very startup company and very doing a lot of stuff very fast. Then in 2007 was the first time ever I came to US and then I came to watch a race. One of my friends actually invited me to come to NHRA Sport Compact in Englishtown. Was the actual last event ever because they finished the Sport Compact in NHRA. And it was funny because we were three friends. We came early. We came like Thursday morning or Wednesday, and we were at the gates. The gates were still closed. The trucks were parked outside. It was very cold, New Jersey, Englishtown. We were sitting literally on the curb waiting to the gates to open. One of the truck or the teams actually opened the window, rolled the window, saying, "Oh, what you guys doing outside?" And we were like, "Oh, we came from Brazil to watch this race." "Oh, it's too cold outside, come inside." And then they invited us. And that happened to be Gary Kubo from Chris Rado's Scion front-wheel drive front-wheel drive Scion, the Pro front-wheel drive. And then we ended up meeting as well Perry, the crew chief from Red Bull Racing.
Okay.
Oh, really?
For that time, which they had the Pro front-wheel drive team from Gary Gardella. And those two teams ended up being very nice to us that weekend. We ended up spending all the weekend along with their trailer operations, and they were pretty much sharing everything they were doing on their cars. And they were using the best of the time, like in electronics. They were doing like traction control. They were doing like a lot of strategies to manage power. And that was mind-blowing for us because we were a very simple EFI, let's say this way, fuel control and timing control, and a few like a two-step rev limiter, but not really a traction control. What happened was with the ideas we learned on that weekend, when we came back to Brazil, we really stopped everything we were doing and started designing differently some of the features. And we did one major software or firmware update on our products in 2007, and that was to include a time-based rev limiter, some predefined traction control strategies that worked really well for them. And since Brazilian market was pretty much front-wheel drive, they really depend a lot on that. That was very successful, very successful. Every single of our clients in Brazil, they literally went a second quicker in that after that firmware update, and that was a big jump for us to really grow into the Brazilian market. Then we pretty much designed like a boost controller, a data logger, and we pretty much started developing a lot of products. And from a fuel controller, we became a fuel injection already with more things, and always with the idea to be very simple, to be user the basic
User-friendly.
users.
Yep.
Yeah, the basic user to be able to really tune without even a laptop. So 2008, we thought we could be trying to get into the US market, and we literally thought California would be the best place to present the product. We started our first tentative of Fueltech USA. We established Fueltech USA in California. I literally knocked like 300 doors over that year, and only one shop opened the door for us to introduce the product. It was Jack Sakiti from JC Enterprises. He was a Volkswagen air-cooled specialized. But at that time, he was building a Honda to compete on a front-wheel drive class.
Okay.
And wasn't his thing, so he accepted help. We ended up wiring the car, installing the fuel injection, and went to the dyno. Was great, but he ended up never really racing that car. And that car, just a jumping story, that car sit for maybe 15 years, and then Brent from PFI Speed bought that car.
Okay.
Without even knowing that was the very first Fueltech car in
Oh,
US.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and now that car is actually running again, but that was so long ago. And then at that time, so we gave up California. We ended up spending a good amount of money, could not accomplish anything. That everybody was saying, oh, you guys have to do PRI show. So you went here at PRI, or actually in Orlando, 2009, 10, 11, 12. And we started with a 10 by 10 booth, a Walmart table, and cover, and some products we brought over in a luggage from Brazil and showing the products. But those 4 years were very frustrating because pretty much everyone, the product was still a lot behind the US market, obviously. The US market was way more advanced already, really tuning from a laptop and that kind of stuff. And our product was always with the idea of having the screen incorporated to be able to really do not need a laptop. But at that time, we already have a software for a computer.
Right.
But everyone was really stopping by our booth and saying, oh, guys, you should be doing a black box under the dash with a serial cable. Nobody really wants a screen on the car. Everyone just needed the tackle. Remember, this is not even Racetrack. I mean, Racetrack was with very older dashes, or the idea of a dash was mostly to display some information, like a gauge.
Yep.
Nobody really was understanding the potential of tuning or having more information, or even reviewing a data log through a dash at that time. Then in 2010, we introduced the FT400, which was the first one with a LCD touchscreen.
Yep.
The first ECU that we were fully capable of tuning through the screen and everything. And remember, that was the year of the iPhone was released.
Yeah, okay.
We have, sometimes we forget how technology advances quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we were at the same year that the iPhone was released, literally, trying to introduce that to racing. And but it wasn't really successful. So 2009 to 12, we established our Fueltech USA location in New Jersey. We had I would say a wrong strategy, because we tried to give away products, and it was a very cheap product. It was an entry-level product, too basic for US market.
Mm-hmm.
And getting by the bottom of the market wasn't really successful. We ended up at that time, Luis was one of our interns in Brazil, and he was the only one that actually accepted the challenge to move to US and try to start the deal, or the business here. Still, we ended up probably spending 1 year and a half, 2 years in New Jersey with that operation. Ended up not working. Then we had we tried through Florida. We tried different strategies. We came here so many times, but it wasn't really getting. Then we realized that our product was not really set for the market, for the US market. We learned through those years a lot what the market we really expected from a product that we could do different.
When you get to a certain level in a build, whether it be drag racing or drifting, road course, or just a badass street car, you'll have to upgrade your transmission. And when we're talking sequential transmissions, there's no one on the planet with a stronger gearbox than 6XD. And the proof is in the pudding here, folks. Half the FD field is rocking a 6XD, and even 3,000 horsepower Vipers have not been able to tame the best that 6XD has to offer. So if you're ready to take it up a notch, go to 6xdgearbox.com, and when contacting them to place an order, use code Minnoxide5, or reach out via socials to figure out how one of the baddest transmissions on the planet could fit in your build. Let's get back to the show.
We still were sticking with our strategy of getting the product really in a way you can tune through the screen and incorporate information. So then we started designing what will become the FT500. The 500 was a completely redesigned on a platform, was a big jump on the processor, because the previous platform was literally designed on my bedroom apartment with a very older, like 1990s technology.
Yep.
Then the FT500 was a very up-to-date 2010 technology, and a very powerful processor. And for that time was so powerful that platform lasted for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And we actually incorporated like software updates. But at that time, we ended up doing we tried through multiple ways to get into the market. But in 2012, we ended up meeting the guys at Proline Racing.
Okay.
They're very known as a domestic engine builders, and they operate race teams. And they ended up a friend of mine from Brazil. he bought 2 Pro mods from him. They bought to take to Brazil. So he introduced us to them, and we ended up start a relationship with them. At that time, we had the FT500 under development, was not released yet. So after that conversation, we shifted our project to allow us to control what they needed. It was like a 16 injector, sequential features that at that time only a few ECUs actually could do. So we made our product capable of doing that, and then we switched the strategies. Instead of entering by the bottom of the market, we tried to go by the top. So we developed so many specific features for drag racing and so many very specific controls that made those cars, when Proline switched over and had those cars running Fueltech, to really see a difference in performance. So then, pretty much 2014, we started we always call like our third tentative of the Fueltech USA. And like I said, a difference of between failure and success is how long you stay trying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just give up too early, and that's kind of the feeling we had at that time. We were giving up, but then we saw another opportunity, and then we grabbed that opportunity and put our best effort. So from 2014 to 17, 18, we developed so much, and actually since until now, but we developed so much features, so much. We went so much to the racetrack. We try to listen to the racers. We try not just to do what they asked us to do, but understand their problems, understand what they actually were trying to solve, and design something that nobody else had thought of doing that way of doing. So it was more like intense of just following instructions. You know what I mean? So that was when we established, let's say, this way Fueltech USA.
Okay, so how many people are working for you at this time? Because Brazil is already very established at this point, correct?
Yeah, in 2014, we had probably 25, 30 employees.
Wow, okay.
In Brazil. And we were solid over there, but the industry was smaller, obviously, way smaller than US. And when we start operating from US, it was 2015. So 15, 16, 17, and 17, I decided to move to US.
Okay.
And was I would say a risky move because we were so established in the Brazilian market, but I felt that will be more helpful here.
Yep.
And the development was being pushed from here, and the Brazilian market was being benefited. So that 20-year gap the Brazilian had was closing because
Yeah.
let's say we were helping a lot drag racing in Brazil. At that time, about 2008, the first specific drag racetrack in Brazil was built. It's like 20 miles from us, and we were very close to them, and that actually helped a lot the drag race in Brazil, because we had finally a quarter mile specific drag race strip over there. Then in about 2016, 17, we had about 30, 40 employees. In 2018, 19, the US market really picked it up quickly for us, like doubling.
Okay.
And then start coming around what we were selling in Brazil. And by the end of 2019 or beginning of 20, just before COVID, we were about 100 employees in Brazil, and US sales overcome Brazilian sales.
Oh, wow.
That
Okay.
was an important part of the history for us.
What was the big reason for the sales to pick up that much in the US?
The market is so much larger.
Sure,
The
okay.
difference is in US, let's say this way, everyone can have a race car.
Okay.
right?
Yep.
I mean, everyone can afford to have a race car.
Sure.
In Brazil, the labor and cost of goods are so
Yeah.
different. Then a race car is really a luxury sport for very few people. So
Sure.
I would say U.S. may have 1,000 times more race cars than Brazil. You know what I mean, or more eventually. It's that kind of a gap. So even having a small share from the U.S. market is still bigger than 100% of the Brazilian market.
Okay.
When you made that jump from the FT 400 to the FT 500, so in the beginning, so you're an electrical engineer, right?
Yeah.
So putting together hardware, all that stuff's good. Who's doing all of your like software and code writing? And in the beginning, is that you, or do you have somebody that came on early on, or?
I had at the beginning, early beginning, I have an original partner that
Okay.
he was the software guy and I was the hardware guy.
Okay.
So I designed the whole hardware, and I also was building. Then I became the media guy. I became the,
Yeah.
the sales guy. I became the tech support guy, and that
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
when you start a business. You got a
Yeah.
lot of hats, right?
yeah. But that first partner actually stayed only until 2005 with me.
Okay.
And he left. It was not easy, but it was a great thing that happened because then I hired another friend that was the same electrical engineering school or college with me. And I always joke, that guy is still with me today. He's one of my lead engineers. That guy actually made more money than I did for 5 years at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was the most important, one of the most
Right,
important
right.
person in people, guys in the company. To at the time we developed the 500, we probably had already 8 full-time engineers working
Okay.
on that project, and I would say we're very proud to hire great people always, and I would say one of the secrets of any successful company is really having the right people, motivation properly aligned, and that's why most of the guys that started working with me 20 plus years ago, they're still there. It's usually we hire really well and we keep them really well. Anyway, so then when we developed the 500, then when we in 2019 jumping from actually 2015, we entered NHRA Pramod. We won the championship. It was a very important moment for us.
Yeah.
2016, the switch over from many of the domestic side, and then the import actually started looking back to us because they kind of lost attraction for a few years or lost interest for a few years, and then they went back after that. So it's rare, in my opinion, to see a company or a ECU worldwide that actually can supply so many different applications. So it's usually you're very good in some application, and you're successful in that small application. Because of the South America market is different. Every sport, every niche is smaller. You have to be great in everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we ended up, our product always been very successful from drag racing, circuit racing, rally, and any kind of sports, street cars or anything. But at the time, we went to US market. We really were successful in domestic V8s or domestic pro modes, and then we start spreading to other applications.
Okay.
So that was when we start spreading. That's where we believe we ended up growing more.
So when you were doing development at this time, I always hear this when I talk to tuners or whatever. It seems like whoever makes all the ECU companies, it's almost like they don't even look at each other's products. Were you doing that at that time? Were you comparing yourself to others, or were you just doing what racers wanted?
I would say the very beginning, I was always there was the one product in Brazil available. There was another Brazilian-made product from the 80s and 90s actually. I never really touched that product, but it was not that I thought I would not learn from that, but I just felt bad copying that.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's almost like I wasn't really understanding. I didn't want to look like we copied him. and that always been a thing for us. So we always try to understand what has to be done and creating. And I would say that particular decision was great, because if we will have copied that product, now I understand they had a wrong strategy of tuning, and we will be backwards, let's say
Yeah,
this way.
yep.
Now we ended up creating our round, which was very simplified. So I would say we're a company that some companies they let's say they start developing their product top down. Let's say a OEM ECU, that's like thousands and thousands of tables and controls and,
Yep.
and complexity. And some of the products that exist in the market today are based on that kind of product and scaling down, simplification. But you always keep your roots. You always keep your some things that is hard to really change if you start like that.
Sure.
We actually did the opposite. We had a product that had like 4 push buttons, and we start adding. So in the end, you may come together in the level, obviously, or even different levels, but the roots are different. So that's one of the reasons why I think our product is kind of unique, because we always came from bottom to up.
Okay.
up.
So at this point, obviously, it's work. Did you start having your own cars and toys at some point? When did you start having some fun as well?
I was going to say, different than Luis, I'm not the guy that like race to race my car.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that likes to build and the challenge of developing something. You know what I mean? So that's why we actually complement or meet each other. But I always try to have my first car, my second car was the car I actually started modifying. It was a Chevrolet Vectra, which is actually an Opel Vectra in Brazil, a European model.
You know what breaks my heart? No, it's not the 2% female demographic. It's the fact that 80% of you guys are not subscribed and following the show. So go ahead, hit subscribe or follow. And of course, if you're on YouTube, hit that bell so you are notified when we drop a new episode. Let's get back to the show.
I start always to do something. I had a second car was an Opel Calibra, which is a front-wheel drive car, also very popular in Brazil. I always used my cars as a tool to develop something, a feature or a application, or validate the product, or really operate for many, many hours. So I always try to use that as an excuse, let's say, to have those cars. So in different levels, I started since the beginning, you know what I mean? Whatever I had funds to do, let's say this way. And then in 2019-20, COVID came, and that was a huge challenge for everyone, right? Because some countries, they shut down, some countries stayed operating, part of the country operating. And we were very lucky that we have made some good decisions. That, for example, we decided to overstock supply chips, because we realized that they may be missing on the market because of the COVID, and some other competitors actually did the opposite. They slowed down. They stopped for a while, and at that time in 2 years we grew like 100+%. We doubled the company. So in Brazil we jumped from 100 employees to 200 employees in 2 years, and it's a tricky grow. It's really hard to keep up with that. So in US we probably have 15 employees. We jumped to 20, 25 in those 2 years, and in a few after COVID was done, we didn't have space to actually sit everyone back in the office. So we had to move to another building. We had a 7,000 square feet building.
Yep.
We moved to a 70,000 square feet building.
That's a big jump.
And then that was 2022, 3.
Okay. Was this the building that got flooded?
Yeah.
Okay.
And 365 days later, after we moved to that building, we had a major catastrophe in Brazil. The flood. That flood was unbelievable. It's hard to even to explain. Imagine 2 million people lost their houses. 2 million people. It's not like it's an area of a few states
Right.
of completely flooded. And there was a combination of rain never happened or happened 80 years ago one time, and a combination of failures of the retention areas of
Okay.
the city, because the city sits below the lake level,
Yep.
and there was retention, a complete failure of everything. Then that flood stayed for 30 days.
Oh wow, I didn't know that part.
It's like 6 feet of water inside of the company for 30 days. Everything, literally, we lost all the wiring. We lost all the inventory. We lost all the machinery, the assembly line, because we do everything in house. Everything. It's like we develop, we manufacture, we assemble, we everything in house, and everything was done. This was May of 2024. It was I would say after going through that, I would say nothing scares me anymore.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but
Well, in Brazil, there's probably. Do you have insurance?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna
nobody
say
had
that's different.
flood
in
insurance.
Yeah.
Nobody. It is so unbelievable. I mean, imagine water 6 feet here
yeah.
Yeah.
in the whole city. It's not just like this building. It's nobody will ever imagine that could happen in a city like that. The city is like a few times larger than Atlanta.
Oh wow.
It's like everything. So anyway, we had to restart, literally restart acquiring machinery. We ended up manufacturing our products through other industries that were not affected, that they offered us the assembly line for the weekend or for some nights, some night shifts, and by January we ended up being able to get our new assembly line. We got loans to do that, and pretty much it was really hard. We reestablished inventory, but it was an unbelievable event that we thought we would not go through, and ended up we did. Obviously, we lost a lot of money. We had to have a lot of help from everyone, even donations for the employees, because from our 200 employees at that time, about 50 lost everything.
Wow.
And so we're 50 families. So we got donations from US, from Brazil, and we were able to cover everything they lost through donations. So it was really, really impressive also. So all those employees that got helped by us, we ended up being able to even to help families, direct families from our employees that lost stuff. And then that brought them closer together even more, because they were so
Yeah.
thankful and for everything everyone done to help each other.
Yep.
I would say that event really put together a lot of people that were a lot of people never know they could help so much or receive help so much. The whole country actually helped a lot. So we were very creative of how to overcome that. We accelerated product development. We did everything we could to. Like we said, we had to compensate that some way. How?
Did you have a lot of active orders, or did you have to shut down the website and stuff for a while there, or how,
So
you were down for a total of 30 days?
We had inventory in US
Okay.
enough to keep up for a couple months,
Okay.
Okay.
and usually we always worked with inventory. We never really had back orders. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but that there was a problem because I had like 5 months worth of inventory
Yeah.
lost. So we put a message on the website, especially in Brazil, and saying people don't stop buying, but we don't know when we're going to ship. And a lot of people really did that. I also had one of my cars that I liked more was a Mazda RX-7. Was only 7 in Brazil. Very rare car. Mine was I would say in US pricing, I would say that car will be worth $150,000.
Uh-huh.
It was a nicest possible restoration, and a car very, very nice. And we sell a lot of shirts everywhere, especially in Brazil, and we had 14,000 shirts that were damaged on the flood.
Wow.
And when I mean damage, we thought, okay, let's just wash and sell. That should be fine. When the first load from washer came, it was damaged. Like the core was oil stained. It was holes on that because it was 30 days under very heavy chemical water, and so we ended up doing a strategy of selling those shirts with a stamp saying that shirt was saved from the flood, and who will be buying those will be helping our recover, and we will be giving away the Mazda RX-7
Oh,
for.
really?
Okay.
And then we also added a few other prizes, like we brought 9 people to US for SEMA show, and traveling. We gave some of our products, so it was a big giveaway action. That was actually what helped quicker cash flow.
Oh, wow.
To
Okay.
to bring to keep running the operation. So we did that and many other different actions to recoup from that. And but at the same time, we understood the U.S. market, although a lot of our clients were trying to help. I would say 99% doesn't care what we were going through over there. So we had to, let's say, stay up and keep working, even our company being flooded in Brazil, and trying to not run out of products, what the inventory we had. So it was a tough strategy, but obviously we made it.
Right.
Yeah.
Was this around when you had the 600 or 650 coming out?
No, we had the 600 was released in 2016.
Okay, well,
And,
no, it's the
no,
it's
the 700.
Okay, yeah.
So we were already a couple years working on the 700 project development platform, and this is our third big major platform change.
Yeah.
And when you do a platform change like that, it's really starting from scratch.
Yep.
It's not copy and pasting
yeah.
software. It's really different platforms, really different. So we start developing that in 2021.
Okay.
And or 2022 maybe, and we were close enough to start pre-selling it. That obviously the flood pushed us to start the pre-sale of the units, and that was another action that helped us to come up to recover from the flood. So we start pre-selling that, and then we ended up start delivering it in March this year. And I was going to say that product is such of a big jump in technology, because most of the most of the modern ECUs, they are still like 10-15 years older technology. And again, if you think a 15-year-old iPhone, how much apps or what the performance difference you can run on it. So we understand that the technology with the advent of AI and all the electronics are so important in a race car that we needed to do another platform update, and that is heavy on any company, because that takes, when you invest 3-4 years of development without selling a single unit to come up with something, it's a heavy investment than most of the companies are willing to do, let's say this way. Especially if you have a company on a later stage of life where eventually the owners are not so motivated, or they're not even present. Eventually it's easier to keep rolling with your existing product.
Right. Yep. And just keep updating it and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, until you can, but obviously there is a limit, and there's a thing. So since Fueltech has 24 years old now, and I expect to complete in 50 years. Fueltech. So we still have another long time ahead to develop products and release products and that kind of stuff. But so that this big jump was necessary, and now we consider the product literally delivered with the what we expected to be for the product to run maturely and complete. Right now, I mean, by the end of the year, this year now, we're actually finishing, considering the product like on a stage that we say, okay, product's ready in terms of having everything we promised and everything is needed. But now we see another 10 years of expansion and developing on that platform. Because now, for right now, it's like the initial idea is just to replace the 600 with a 700. And a car that is running very well, let's say this way, and has all the features from the 600 taking care of what he needs. So the next, once we get to this stage right now, people will jump for the next stage and understand, okay, what's next? What can I do more with such of a powerful hardware?
So you're obviously very big in the pro mod stuff. Do you guys plan on getting into some more street car stuff then? And do you have a pretty good like CAN bus system and stuff like that for integrating into a car that you don't be driven around an everyday use kind of thing? Or
So the previous platform until the 600,
yeah,
the CAN bus wasn't customizable.
Yep.
So we had a few predefined CAN buses or settings, like the Volkswagen DSG transmission CAN bus, or some Volkswagens, and jet skis for, let's say, the Yamaha, the Sea-Doo,
Yep.
full integration, so completely plug and play, and a few more, but it wasn't really focused on the previous product line. So that in the new product line, the Vision with the 700 and the future products that are coming with the Vision FT, we have a completely customizable CAN bus. We already doing. I would say I have a. You can go either from a newer car like a Corvette C8 that you can actually control a lot of stuff through CAN bus, and I have a FD CAN bus, which is in the later cars all had that, and a few ECUs actually have a FD CAN bus like we have. Also from a 1999 Mercedes that has a dashboard through CAN bus that we can supply information. So the customization of the CAN bus is exactly what we incorporated. That is very, very nice. One of the things.
Yeah, because if you're putting it in like a true race car, there's not a lot of need for a lot of that stuff, right? So
yeah, the later race cars are using a lot of stuff through CAN bus, like PDMs or newer technology or even other products. But obviously the street market requires a lot of customization and integration with other the IEM electronics.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about the other stuff that you have? So you said you had jet skis. You guys are doing side-by-sides and stuff now too. What's that market like? Is that pretty big for you guys? Or
I would say the jet ski, really high horsepower jet skis is where we sit better.
Okay.
We do have plug and plays for any jet ski, and that actually became a relevant market for us. We do obviously we are getting better, stronger in circuit racing. All the advent like lap timers and circuit tracing for circuit is something we're incorporating right now to the software or to the products. Then we go import. Obviously, is where we're very strong as well. If you go Orlando or even the World Cup finals in Maryland. We feel we have a good one of the largest market share of this racing scenes.
And I'm sorry, do you guys do side by side stuff then too? Okay.
We do have like a plug and play for the Can-Ams, the X3, the Polaris, and some of them.
And I know that Yamaha, their engines are pretty similar across all of their platforms. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna ask because when we were at Ball Ground, we got to check out some of the cars that you have over there. Sorry, the red car. What was that car again?
Opel, the Chevrolet Opala.
Yeah. So you said that was your second car,
No.
or is that different?
My cars. I have a few cars in Brazil.
Sure.
And a few cars here. That Opala is actually a friend, one of my friends. That a few years ago I told publicly that I would like to buy one of those and bring over here because nobody. I mean, the U.S. never seen the Opala, and that car is a very important in Brazilian car scene. So one of my best friends say, okay, take any of my cars. He has like 5, 6 of those.
Oh yeah.
And then I took one of these and I used would be like mine. But my first car was the Chevy, or the second car was Chevy Vectra. It's a more like a sedan, like a Cavalier.
Yeah.
From the 90s. And those cars I have in Brazil. I think I have like 12 cars in Brazil and about 10 here, something like that.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Because like Luis was telling us, you kind of like those like movie cars. So how did the DeLorean end up?
Yeah, if you run out of room and you need to get rid of the DeLorean, I'm open.
No, that is likely. I have a problem selling any of my cars.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah. The DeLorean was obviously, I have a bucket list of cars that I want to complete. And I always trying to find a DeLorean. It's not really hard to find.
Right.
It's more to have motivation to do something.
Right.
Because the stock engine sucks. And, and really doesn't really perform any like it should. So I ended up buying that car in January of 24.
Oh, okay.
And it was sitting without engine, transmission, 25 minutes from my house. I bought a car. I had already a Maserati engine sitting in the shop.
Yep.
That I thought it would be a good fit for that car.
Yeah.
So I bought a Porsche transmission, like a 997.
Okay.
Which is the DeLorean community already have some mounts for those transmissions, and it's a typical swap when you need more reliability. Then I started manufacturing or making the adapter plate to fit the transmission to the engine. Bought like K&W suspension, wheelwood brakes. I started updating. I restarted the frame. Pretty much bought a lot of DeLorean parts, like to fix the car because the car was not really in great shape. And then when the car was actually getting closer to be finished, I was like, man, this car is getting so nice. It would be nicer to have a Ferrari engine instead of the Maserati engine, which is Ferrari made.
Correct.
But it's not flat plane crank. It's a cross plane crank.
Okay.
The Maserati engine. But everything else is the same. The bolt button, everything size. So I was scrolling through eBay and trying to. I thought in buying a crankshaft from Ferrari and change the camshafts and really make it a flat plane out of a Maserati engine. Then the crankshafts were like $4,000 and that kind of pricing level. And the Ferrari engines, complete Ferrari engines, were like $30,000.
Okay.
And I was like, then I ended up finding one engine for $12,000. And I made an offer on eBay. The guy accepted $10,000. I get the engine.
Okay, not bad. Okay.
Then I ended up switching to the Ferrari. But then I had a big challenge because that engine is direct injection.
Okay.
And at that time, we were not really done doing any direct injection controls with the Fueltech. And obviously, nobody would be stupid enough to bring all the Ferrari electronics into a DeLorean. That would be bringing the bad part of the platform.
Yeah.
So then it pushed myself to actually develop the DI control, the direct injection control. And I'll be honest, I had a wrong impression that it would be harder. And we were very lucky to do certain decisions on the development aspect. And I'll tell you something, that is also another example of if you base too much on OEM, sometimes you overcomplicate stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And DI, if you talk to any OEM engineer that developed application of DI, which I talked to a few, they all have a vision overcomplicated for some perception. I'm not saying for DI or OEM, it's needed because you have stratified injection, you have a lot of details. Then we thought, man, why don't we just do the basics? Let's first control the injector, then we control the pump, and if we have some stabilizer, then we're struggling to get the pump, the DI pressure, the high pressure control, stable enough, because it was oscillating like 30 psi up and down on a 2000 range, and we're not happy with that. And we're like, man, it needs to be better, it needs to be better, it needs to be better. Then we ended up doing some more research. We saw OE actually spikes 100 psi, and we're way better than OE in that perspective. So ended up everything working really well. The car started running very nicely, but last year, since I bought the car in January, last year I wanted to have the car finished for SEMA show. So ended up that we missed it for a few weeks to have the car finished. So we took to SEMA show 2024. Also was the year of the flood, so obviously everything was behind for us. But then a lot of people saw there was missing shafts, no wiring harness.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people actually said, "Oh, this is a typical SEMA show build," and not even drive shaft or input shaft or the shafts. And then we took the car back in November from SEMA, worked in December, and January the car was running this year. And along this year, I drove the car a lot, not say it as a daily, but I drive it very often, too often maybe. And then when this SEMA show came up 2025, I had a few friends that were doing a trip from Brazil, driving all the way from Brazil, a Chevy Caravan, which is the wagon version of the Opala.
Okay.
It's a nice car. And they were driving from Brazil, but they ended up getting delayed, so they had to ship the car from Brazil to Miami. Okay. And they started driving from Miami, and then they stopped by our place.
Okay.
And then I was literally in Brazil, actually in a podcast. And on a Monday night, they called the host of the podcast, because they had agreed before, and invited me to drive the DeLorean all the way to Vegas.
Okay.
The car never really drove more than 40 minutes in the same trip. And then I was like, man, it's really hard. I'm still in Brazil. I need to fly to US, sit on the car and drive 3-4 days straight on a car that I don't believe, I'm not sure if it's going to be reliable enough for that.
Yeah.
And then I try, my idea was to get out of that. It was like, okay, I invited the host of the podcast, which lives in Brazil, is a good friend. Say, okay, I go. If you go, I will go. And then the guy's like, oh no. And when we finished the podcast, he called his wife and I called my wife, and we were like, man, let's do it.
Yeah.
And what can possibly go wrong?
Right, yeah.
And then we ended up, I went to US. I arrived like 7 a.m. in Atlanta.
Okay.
Drove back home, confirmed I was still married, talked to my wife and kids for a few minutes, and left and went straight, and raining. And then we drove 2,000 miles. And we're in a group of about 7 cars.
Okay.
And one of my guys, actually, we decided to take a truck and trailer, because
just in case,
right? It would not be good to call bad over there.
You're probably going to need to ship your car soon, or know somebody that will. And as someone who used to work in freight logistics, I understand the difficulties of finding reliable transport, especially when trying to make it to rallies, racetracks, or to warehouse to hide your Corvette, because you're going through a messy divorce, and when she says everything, she means everything. Anywho, Nick Shear is the proud owner of SureThing Logistics. Having traveled much of the country with every type of vehicle you can imagine, he's got the experience and reliability that you want to ensure a safe journey for your pride and joy. If you want to find out what it takes to ship your vehicle, go to SureThingLogistics.net, fill out the intake form, and be sure to let him know I sent you. Let's get back to the show.
And but my guys on the shop, they all had a bet that I will not stay more than 200 miles driving the car.
Really?
That's how you will probably put in the trailer.
And a lot of people lost that bet, huh?
Yeah, everyone. And ended up that I drove all the way, and we made it 2,000 miles in 3 days. 0 problems, 0 issues. It was even a cool proof that the product, the FT700, the DI, even the platform, because you always think that a Ferrari engine is not reliable.
right?
Yeah, yep.
And but in reality, if you have modern electronics and those cars can be, you know what I mean? The engines are really good. So ended up doing a great trip, had a lot of fun, catch a lot of attention, and got in Vegas.
Yeah. It's kind of funny that you took two unreliable things, the DeLorean
Yeah.
and the Ferrari, and you put them
Yeah.
together and made them something reliable.
Yeah. But I'll tell you something, the Ferrari engines from the 2010s
Yep.
and up, they are completely different engines.
Yeah.
If you take even I have a 355 as well,
Okay.
1998, which I made a single big turbo, and before doing that, I actually took apart a rod and checked the rods, the pistons, and I bought another one, not for my engine, but the engine is built is amazing. I mean, all the internals, the pump, the oil pump is a fantastic. Everything is the heads, cams, everything is like super lightweight. It's super nicely done. My DeLorean engine, the Ferrari engine, has 90,000 miles
Oh wow.
Oh, really?
when I bought it. That's why it was so cheaper.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And who would you think like a 90,000? And I just dynoed last week, it made 440 wheel horsepower, revving 9,000 RPM,
Wow.
and it's unbelievable. It's amazing car.
Did you crack it open at all, or did you just slam
No.
it in? Yeah.
I just
put it right in and went,
Yeah. yeah.
I was gonna say two of my favorite parts about that car. First of all, the 700, the dash
Yeah.
is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
But also, like, you took the wheels and it's like, like the those are like that'd be like what 325s? Like that's a big wheel
No,
you have
it's
on there.
actually so I order custom wheels. I just told the guys that I want. It's like the guys at Pure Wheels out of Florida. I told them I want the same design,
Yep.
2-inch bigger, 1-inch wider, and the most concave you can make the back. I just gave them this prompt,
Yeah.
let's say this way, and then they designed those wheels, and obviously we found the right offset, and but I think it's a 265 or 275
Okay.
in the back.
It looks amazing. That was one of my favorite parts.
I would say there's no better wheel for a DeLorean.
Yeah.
Because if you try to fit any other wheel, it always look like cheap or
Yeah, you don't want to put TE37s on there.
Yeah, it's it doesn't match. That car has
Yeah.
to have that particular wheel, but obviously this 14-inch and 15-inch is too small for nowadays look, right? So
Sure.
it's a 16 and 17 right
Okay.
now.
Well,
Yeah.
you obviously have a wide collection with a lot of variety, right?
Uh-huh.
Is there any brand that you? Because like, correct me if I'm wrong. Brazil's big on like GM and Volkswagen, right?
Yes, number 1 and 2. Yeah.
So do you lean one way? Were you a fan of anything?
When I
or-
was younger, it was literally like either you were GM or you were Volkswagen, and those were the ones racing each other.
Yep.
It was like different tribes. And since my first car or second car was a Chevrolet,
Yep.
I went from GM. So if I would pick one brand, it's Chevrolet.
Sure.
But I have Volkswagens.
Sure.
I have a few of them.
I saw you have that electric one too, right?
I have an electric
Yeah.
Volkswagen we converted. That car was a cool project because we got like a 1994 or 1992 Gol, which is a Brazilian version of the Golf,
Yep.
and that is the most iconic Brazilian sports car, the GTI, and we built what would be Volkswagen who had made that electric in the
Yeah.
90s with 2020s technologies, and so we put a 200 horsepower electric motor we kept the stick shift. We ended up locking in third gear because it's so powerful. It spins the tires at any gear that there was enough. But that car is a Volkswagen. I had a Beetle, and also electric.
Oh, yeah, yep.
A Volkswagen 73. And I'm building one of my nicest, the one I like a lot, is a Volkswagen Saveiro, which is a small truck. It's like a Gol truck version,
Sure.
which is very, very small. And one of the cars I regret selling in my life ever was Audi RS2 Porsche.
Okay.
That RS2, that car had only 1,500 made in the world. Go search for that car later, because that car is so unique. It was the first RS from Audi, 1995. That car worth at that time, when I had it in 2010, $15,000
Sure.
if you convert from US. Now it worth 150. And if you look in US, there's few of them. It's very,
Yeah.
very valuable. But anyway, so that car had a 5-cylinder inline engine,
Yep.
20 valves, turbo, all-wheel drive. Super nice from 1995, 315 horsepower. So I did a complete swap of that engine and transmission into my Savero.
Oh, okay.
And the truck. So I built a Volkswagen. I call Savero RS2.
Yeah, yep.
To do that. It's
That's
like all-wheel
awesome.
drive. I did a burnout the other day, where we hooked up the car and did a all-wheel drive burnout, like a lot of smoke, and that car is it's cool.
It's probably making a little bit more power than stock too.
Yeah,
or-
like 900 now.
holy shit!
Oh wow.
In that little car, the car probably weighs what 2,500 pounds,
No, it's 2100.
2,100 pounds. Oh my God.
2100 pounds. I'm impressed. That car is impressive. I have another cool project, Volkswagen or Audi related. It's Audi S2, 1991
Yep.
coupe with a Bentley W12 engine, twin turbo, manual transmission, all-wheel drive.
Oh my God.
That car is being finished.
And what car was that going
Audi
in?
S2.
Okay.
Is the Audi 80,
Yeah. Okay.
the
Yep.
S2 version,
Yeah.
and a coupe.
What made you want to do the W12 though?
Because the same place I bought the Ferrari engine. Ended up looking their inventory. And,
Oh no, that's
and,
a bad idea. Yeah.
And found out they had those W12s,
Yeah.
which is two VR6s
Yes. Yep.
from Volkswagen. At a $3,000, I was like, man, I bought on an impulse. I was like, oh yeah, let me buy this. I will figure where I'll fit that car. Then a few months later, I ended up finding this Audi.
Yep.
That because that Audi is a 5-cylinder, and the VR6 is shorter than the 5,
Okay.
actually. So the W12 is the same length, but obviously it's super
Right, yeah,
wide, super wide. But they fit. I put the twin turbos on top, and
That's cool.
It's being built.
No, I was going a lot through your channel when I was doing the highlights when I did my episode of Luis. So like I said, I'm so happy that YouTube has Translate as well because I don't know Portuguese, right? So I sent it to Translate. It was actually pretty good. I was watching some of the videos and researching it back then. But so other projects wise, is anything on the? Are you doing anything else in the future?
No,
Here,
I
are you taking
have-
a break?
I have a very nice. A few. Some cars like my daily is a BMW M5, the V10, the E60.
Oh yeah, yep.
I put like some headers. I also daily a lot Mercedes 1999 SL 600,
Yeah.
which is the V12, the M120 from Mercedes, which is the same platform Pagani Zonda uses.
Yep.
So we did a nice header that sounds like a Formula One car.
Wow.
Even
Okay.
being a convertible from Mercedes. I have a nice Supra MK4
Okay.
Supra with 2JZ billet block, dry sump. It's a 79mm turbo, makes 1,000 wheel,
Sure.
and I had a 10-speed transmission on the car from the Camaro.
Oh,
the
okay.
10L90
Yeah.
transmission. That car is a right-hand drive. That car I love. I
Yeah.
drive it a lot. I also have in the Opala in US here, and I have a nice project, the hardest I ever done, and it's not finished. Is a 1986 Mercedes 190E
Yeah. Okay.
Cosworth.
Yep.
The one I put a body kit from like the Evo 2, and I'm doing a car that is a tribute to Ayrton Senna, the Brazilian Formula One
Oh, yeah,
driver.
yep.
That was the first car he raced.
Was that the one also at the warehouse? In
Yes, that was
Belgrade?
our
Yeah.
house.
Yep.
Yeah, a black one with the gold stripes. I also have the Ferrari, the 355 in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I shipped to Brazil to actually do the restoration over there, and it's coming back. To have an idea, the restorations in Brazil is a great idea to do because the Brazilian restoration shops are so good,
Okay.
and the price with the exchange rate is a fraction of the cost in US, and they can do a car like in a full restoration, body of everything in 1 year. which is really hard to accomplish. And shipping the car over there is like is $12,000 or $15,000 back and forth. So it's not that, and you
It
save.
still ends up being cheaper in the long run.
It's way cheaper and way quicker than doing in US.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And so I ship it to the Ferrari to Brazil and doing a full restoration. Because that Ferrari I bought like a very cheap Ferrari. It's like $30,000. I even ended up fighting with Ed Bullion
Oh yeah, yeah.
from Vinwiki because he was trying to buy that car and I was trying to buy the car at the same time. He was trying to buy for a show. He would be destroying the car.
Yeah.
And the old man that was selling the car ended up selling to me because everyone else trying to buy the car was like too aggressive
Yeah.
and he was not really, I was the nicest guy that according to him, trying to buy the car. But the car was a front accident, front clip replacement.
Okay.
And had like a bad history. But I ended up fixing the engine in turbo, Fueltech, nice wheels, nice brakes. And the car became so nice that I had to do restoration and rebuild the front end and everything. So the car is being finished now in a couple months. And in Brazil, I also have a 1972 Cuda,
Okay.
Plymouth Cuda, which is,
That's probably pretty rare in Brazil, huh?
yeah. Very rare. And I built the car here with a big blower outside of the hood. It's the green color.
Yep.
And that car is super nice. I ship it as well to do a full restoration as well. And that's kind of... and when I ship the cars over there, they usually stay about 4 or 5 years. Because then I not only do the restoration, but I go to some events and I actually benefit from that as well. And then ship the car back here. So should be shipping the Audi and Supra and maybe the DeLorean in a few as well.
Are you doing any hands-on stuff with these two? Or are you getting in there and wrenching on this stuff too? Or
I'm more like the electronics guy.
yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not like a mechanical guy.
Sure.
The mechanics. And I love to stay weekends sometimes overnight. Like the other car I have here is the Corvette C8.
Oh yeah,
My red one that I was the first to run 8 seconds in a quarter mile ever.
wow.
So nobody would take that title from me. And everybody was saying that car was untunable. That was I will make this. So I was one of the first to make 1,000 horsepower plus, to run 8 mile the first. And that car, I broke 4 engines or 3 engines, 9 transmissions.
Holy shit.
And but we developed a lot on that car.
Sure.
We developed a lot. And now that car is on FT700. And now we're actually taking over everything. So
Okay.
that'll be another big step. But that car, for example, man, I spent countless weekends or nights by myself at the shop with the oscilloscope and on the car, on the dyno. It was one very sad moment on a Monday or a Sunday morning or a Saturday night. I was working really, almost getting the full control on the transmission because I was trying to get the 8 second pass.
Yeah.
And I could not make it work. Could not make it work. I went home at midnight, and I gave up. And the next morning, I woke up and I know what I was doing wrong. And I was like, man, I need to go there. And I had my wife asking me, "Oh, can you go buy food for lunch?" And say, "Okay, take the kids with you." So, okay, I took the kids with me, and I drove by the shop. I had the kids waiting on the car.
Yeah.
And I went to the Corvette. It was actually both on the dyno, on the hub dyno, because I was testing. And I loaded up the adjustments fixing. I thought. I run the car, was idling, and the next weekend was the race that I wanted to really. The next weekend was the actual Z06 release. And I knew GM was going to do a big thing about that. And I really wanted to be 8 seconds before that. Or the following week or something like that. And then I run the car, idle the car. As soon as I put in gear, it split the transmission in half.
Oh no.
I made another mistake, set it up something wrong and engaged both clutches on the dual clutch transmission at the same time and split the transmission in half. Man, I'll say that was one of the saddest days of my life. I was like, I didn't told anybody. I shut the car off, cleaned the mess, and went back home. And man, I went to my home. I told my wife I need some time off. I need to sleep. And I was like, man, I can't believe I broke this, and that was like so hard. Then the next morning, the guys arrived at the shop and they saw the car broke on the dyno, and I didn't told anybody. And they say, man, let's buy another transmission and just reverse back what you had. I said, man, how can we find another transmission right now? Or it was 2021 or something like that. And then anyway, we ended up buying a transmission. We drove like 5 hours to get a transmission, put the transmission back. Then we took the car to Orlando that weekend. And then I run 906, 904, 907, 903, and the 8 seconds never came. Then we ended up, in the first pass actually, we figured the VVTs didn't work. Then I realized the oil pressure was down. Then we realized we missed 4 quarts of oil on the engine.
Oh no.
And then we were like, oh, we're done. And then I was like, man, we need to do this weekend. We need to do this weekend. And so I ended up walking through the pits, found like a liquid moly booth, and they had some additives. I never really was a big fan of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, man, give me whatever you want to have. Like I put the additives, change the oil, put the right level, and then we're still running. I was like, well, man, maybe the engine was not damaged. And then we ended up running the 8 second pass on that night, 897. And it was like 20,000 people on the stands. It was one of the most important moments for me. And I called my wife after that. It was really, really cool. And then, man, we did it. We left the race. The next weekend, I was a big Caffeine in Octane, a big car show in Atlanta. I drove the car 1 hour to the show, stay over there, drove the car back, and then the next day I was like, oh, okay, maybe let's pull the engine here and make sure everything's fine. When I pulled the engine, the crankshaft was blue. The rods were blue. It was like the rod bearings were like flipped.
Oh no.
And I don't even know how the engine was even running. I was like, unbelievable. So after that, I became a big fan of that additive.
Yeah, I bet.
And but anyway, so then that car, after that, I gave the car like a couple years of break. I was okay. 8 seconds is enough for now, and now I'm back actually to that project to try to run the 7 seconds now.
Oh wow.
That's the goal.
Good. The C8s need some help, man. There's people are trying to crack that nut, and it's,
After that, HP tuners cracked the ECU, and now it's way easier to do the tuning on the engine side, but still no solution for the transmission. So that's where we were focusing on.
Okay.
Are you guys able to do anything with the transmission yet then, or?
I think I was the first to actually do the piggyback with the clutch pressures.
Okay.
And I done something more aggressive that I was, to have an idea, the OEM pressure on the clutch is like 14 bar.
Okay.
12 and 14 bar. When I run 8 seconds, I had like 19 and 21 bar. And after that, or before, when I was trying something different, I went to 27 and 29 bar of clutch pressure. But then it was too risky and damaged the transmission, which happened. But now we're working on controlling the clutch pressures and pretty much taking over everything.
Okay.
Where's this? So you were talking about you've got a couple electric swaps that you've done. One of them I really like is, I'm a Ford guy, so I like you have a 93 Cobra. Yeah. Where'd the affinity for that come from? Especially in a world where that's kind of a sore subject.
Like you saw, I'm not one brand guy or one kind of application. I have rotaries V8, V10, V6. I mean, I love all the forms of cars. You know what I mean? I also had a Tesla, a Plaid, which nobody can disagree. That's fast as fuck. It's unbelievable how fast those cars are.
Yep.
And my wife has a Rivian, the electric.
Okay.
The ROS1, the quad is also 1,000 horsepower. It's crazy, those cars. But anyway, so we all, obviously there's no, I don't believe it's going to take over like some people expected a few years ago. But at the same time, there is no, this is a platform that will grow. It will stay. At the same time, who likes cars, sometimes you can find a middle ground. So that's why we decided to do the Mustang. they convert the 93 Mustang into electric, but keeping the stick shift,
Yes.
the manual transmission. So try to keep some of the feeling of having a vintage car, right? And at the same time, for us as a challenge as a company, the ECU is the same to control a gasoline engine or electric engine motor. It's you still have you still have throttle, pedal, you still have wheel speed, you still have cooling system, you still have traction control, you still have range control. Let's say some way. You still have the electronics are similar. So we were halfway of controlling an electric vehicle. So we ended up deciding to, and that's one of the things we always do. We use an excuse of developing something and the passion to do that to actually accomplish that. So the Mustang as well, the other cars were a project to develop our products for those applications. And even not being something very popular, we do sell a lot for EVs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's another
Okay.
market we actually do very well. When I mean very well, it doesn't compare volumes to regular applications, but in that industry, for example, even in Brazil, we have over 200 buses using our products on commercial transportation, for example.
Oh, okay.
They were diesel engine buses converted to electric, and they need a brain to control of that, and
Yeah.
we've been supplying that. So that's one application that came from this work.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, there's a lot of torque there, right? That's kind
Yeah.
of it seems like a good race
And
car
by the way, we
application.
haven't been able to drive it too much because every time we step on,
Yeah.
it breaks the
Yeah.
it breaks the shaft to the clutch.
Oh,
to
really?
to the shaft to the flywheel actually.
Okay.
And they were actually redesigning that a couple times to see if it will stay.
That's awesome.
So as we kind of start to wind down here, first of all, I could talk all day, but obviously we want to get back to the show and keep you on schedule. But over the last few years, besides the flood and COVID, of course, was there anything difficult in like that 2010 to 2020 period, or was it just kind of go go go? Like, were you guys able to grow without much issue?
No, like I said, we failed 3 times on the establishment of the Fueltech USA or the operation here. We run out of money a couple times with that because it ended up costing a lot of money for us, so we had to scale down
Sure.
and the weight. Fortunately, we were able to turn around, and the South American market was always strong for us, pretty much paying for the cost of us trying to do here. We never had an investor in terms of some companies actually have like private equity or that kind of stuff. We always thought that it would be a benefit not having, because we can actually have full control. So 2010, 12, 13, the 9, 10, 12, the failures on US. Then there was some crisis around political and economical crisis that is also a challenge to deal. We're facing one right now, which is the tariffs being applied for imported products. So fortunately, we were the manufacturers for the products, and we can actually work around that some. But it's obviously not easy, not a good news. It's affecting heavily our operation, let's say this way. And but on top of that is every product release or development is a challenge. You know what I mean? Is also coming out with a new race car out of nowhere that you have to figure bugs and improve and develop and promote and keep up. But at the same time, for example, right now is one of the hardest economical crisis happening in Brazil, and political crisis related. But we see that as an opportunities. So, for example, that home track for us, Velopark, the racetrack that was built in 2008,
Yep.
that operated for 18 years, and we were the main sponsors for the racetrack. It was really important for us, and by a amazing coincidence of factors or planet alignments, let's say this way, this year they decided to sell the racetrack, and I wasn't really considering we could actually get involved on that until we realized that could ended up going for another application. It's like going for a warehouse or something, and we lose a racetrack in Brazil.
Yeah.
But remember, Brazil only have 2 racetracks, drag
Oh,
races.
really?
So if you lose one, it's half of the market gone.
Yeah.
So that catch our attention, and we started working really hard to try to be able to fund or finding eventually an investor to buy the racetrack. And ended up happening that we ended up we bought the racetrack ourselves without any external investor. We ended up doing a very good negotiation with the owner, the family that owned that racetrack, and we were the only buyer that will actually continue the legacy they wanted as well. So we built some name and reputation that gave us the credibility to actually sit on the table with them and be able to seal the deal. So we ended up buying the racetrack, which is an insane move.
Yeah.
I
don't know of any other ECU company that owns a racetrack.
Yeah, and it's not just any racetrack. It's like a circuit racetrack, a drag strip.
Okay.
It's a very complete racetrack. It's not just a strip. It has like closed pits, garage. It has like a very nice structure, and we ended
What's
up
the name of it?
Velo Park.
Vel Park?
Yeah,
Okay.
Velo Park in Brazil. It's 20 miles from our headquarters.
Yeah.
So it's literally the home track, and so we actually took possession this previous weekend.
Okay.
So they gave
Congratulations.
us. Yeah, we got the keys for the property.
Oh yeah, you got
And-
go-karts and stuff there too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're gonna go there then.
Yeah. The go-kart facility actually was splitted from the place and sold for the operator that was doing that.
Okay.
And we got the racetrack, and we got another 20 acres of land. We got
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty cool.
we got another 20 acres of land for future expansion for
Oh, nice.
more stuff. So we're very excited.
Yeah.
And that was also for us for product development, testing, marketing is so beneficial.
How
It's-
far is the other track from your headquarters?
Brazil is a large country, right? It's
Yeah.
1,000 miles away.
Okay.
So ours is in southwest of Brazil. But the benefit is we get all South America countries. Like, believe it or not, every race, like this weekend, we had 240 race cars over there. About 40 of them came from Argentina, Uruguay, Chile,
Wow.
Paraguay, all the neighbor countries. And they travel like 1,000 miles to race there because there's no other racetrack like that. And then the other one is in São Paulo, which is a great friend of us, Sidney Frigo. He races NHRA Pro Mod as well in US, and he owns that other racetrack. So there was only those two that really
Wow.
have professional racing.
Is that one only drag, or is that also?
His is
have
only
some-
drag.
Okay.
Yes. And
Yeah,
ours
you-
is like circuit
Yeah, you
racing.
kind of got a little bit of everything there. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, the racetrack is 50 weekends a year busy. And
That's good.
it's an operation. It's not really a profitable business. If
Right.
you understand, especially if you take in consideration the cost of building. But there are so many side effects that we can benefit from that, because even we're even talking even if the racetrack operation makes even, we're still making money
Yeah.
through
Right.
through the products and people racing and buying that kind of stuff. So
Awesome. I want to go drive on it.
yeah,
Should we pop the usual 3?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
All right. So at the end of every episode, we like to ask our guests to pick 3 cars. I need a track car, a daily driver, and a show car. You have an unlimited budget. You're a guy who likes to swap some stuff. You can swap, build whatever you want. It's going to be hard for a guy who's got 20 some cars.
I will pick from mine because
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy I don't feel good spending $500,000 on one car.
Right.
I'd rather spend that in 10 cars. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Yeah,
I'm the same way. Yeah.
it's not about money. It's about what actually brings me back. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the show car, the DeLorean, even
Okay.
though that car can drive all cross country, the
Yeah.
DeLorean with the Ferrari engine. the daily, believe it or not, I really love my BMW, the M5. It's a great daily. I don't care how much miles per gallon it makes.
Yeah.
And it sounds great. It has space and it's cool car. And track car. Track car would be something like I would say more like there's many. I would like something vintage, something like a DTM from the 90s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would build like something like the Mercedes or a Opel Calibra, which is very strong on me. Those cars from the 90, 95, where you have DTM had like the very strong competition in Germany, and I will actually build a race car similar to that, or one of those cars if they ever exist. Yeah,
Sure.
They still exist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, on that note, where can everybody find you?
Social media, Anderson Dick, and Instagram, YouTube, and my YouTube channel. Luis just started his YouTube channel.
Did he?
Yeah, in English now.
Yeah.
So, I make like weekly videos on Saturday morning, 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. here sometimes.
Sure.
And to pretty much share of some of my projects or some of these passions. It's like something not directly related to Fueltech, but ends up everything obviously has a
I noticed that when I was going through. I watched a lot of videos.
Oh, yeah?
So I was going through when I was researching. I was like, it wasn't like a Fueltech channel. It was like an Anderson Dick channel. It was really cool.
Yeah,
like
we
that.
thought and that actually was a successful strategy, especially in Brazil, where it's easier to connect because of the language, obviously. But even in US, I got recognized by the projects, and a lot of people don't, when they see the CEO, the owner of the company really passionate about what we do, that feels that it makes a connection better. And
for sure.
I think people understand that is a company for purpose, or so in the end it's about who is behind the brands, or it's that's how you gauge usually how successful a company will be. If you try just to run a company by the numbers, it's usually not long-term successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Anderson, thank you very much for coming on the show.
No,
I'm glad we got to finally
appreciate-
meet.
appreciate.
This is fun. Dan, thanks for existing, and we will see y'all next time.
Thank you.